Okay, we're live. Hi, I'm Daisy. I doodle, but today I'm going to be playing around in my dojo in Warframe. So, let's just hop right in, I think. Of course. Of course. I've been having issues. I've forgotten how to stream in the last couple of months that I haven't been doing it, so now everything's like, you want me to do what now? Okay, come on, OBS. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see it now. Okay, looks like I have sound and audio, so we're good. Okay. So, I've already started to do some work in our dojo. This is our dry dock. Um, it's not the biggest dojo in the world, but that was kind of by design. My brother is the, like, clan leader, and, we sort of redid the whole structure of it to make it more thematic, because of course we did. So, when the new update that adds like a bunch of like dojo stuff comes out, is gonna make it so you can put your spawner anywhere. Currently this isn't where our spawner is, but it will be in future. So, I wanted to kind of give you a little tour of it from that perspective. So this is our dry dock, and the reason why we want this to be spawn is because we were like, oh, okay, it'll be like you're getting off your ship to come visit our station, and I think that's cute. So, first thing you're greeted by is a bunch of eyeballs that I made because, I could. These also weren't here, this, like, tunnel, and neither were any of these, sort of clawy, grabby wall things that I made. Oh, don't fall in the crevice. And we actually discovered there are these, like, you can buy, some fancy, like, labelers, but we discovered that there's an item that is essentially that. It's like the Tenno memorial thing, but you don't have to memorialize Tenno, you can use them to label things. So, this way is towards the promenade. There's not a lot done in there yet. It's been a while since I've used Warframe to actually run around and do battles and stuff. So this will be the promenade. It's sort of like the first place in the dojo where you go to, like, hang out. I don't know, get some pretzels. And then over here, oh yeah, is our Crimson branch. But we were maybe thinking of, like, turning it into, like, the dojo chapel. So, it would have, like, a bunch of chairs and a pulpit, and essentially just, maybe, like, even a choir over in the wings. Just for shits and giggles. Just to have a good time. 'Cause the sort of conceit we're going for with our dojo is that it's where all of us live, right? It's our, like, town, it's our community, so we want to have all of the amenities that a community might. I forget what's over here, let's go see. Oh yeah, one of these big empty rooms. I don't remember specifically what we were gonna use this one for. And of course, off of this is our reactors that power the station. Fun fact about these reactors, in our old dojo, the way we had it laid out, these were actually like the living quarters that we made for everyone. And the reason why is because, Like, there's this platform and this platform, which obviously you can use to, like, as living space, right? But if you... Whoop. I meant to wall climb. Okay. But essentially, see that platform up there is exactly like this one here. There's one down there. It's not accessible whatsoever. By the time you, like, get there, you die. But you can go up and actually reach this second platform using, well, not wall jumps, but you like making the platforms to go up to it. So essentially what we were doing was like, this was the kitchen, and this was the living room, and upstairs was like the bedroom and like study areas, which I thought was pretty cute. And oh yeah, we just have a couple of like corridors, and it's like, well, why are those corridors there? And essentially they're storage areas. We're gonna just like pile a bunch of crap in there just to make it look like, oh, this is the janitorial closet. Okay. So, and then over this way is obviously our cute little nature room. This is the small park. We do have a big park that we're also working on, but this is our small park. We haven't done any work in it yet, really, but it's gonna be so good. This isn't connected to anything. It's over here. And then the small park leads into the mall. Mall part 1. So the idea of the mall, you know, is that it's gonna be full of like shops and fountains and little like food stalls and stuff. Just to like make it feel habitable, like a place you would want to hang out. And each of these labs in the Oracle are essentially representative of like, these are shops. These are the shops that we're gonna decorate them to look like shops. My brother put a lot of thought into which shops go where, because he was like, oh, the Tenno hate these guys, and, you know, the Infested hate these guys, etc. So we didn't want to put the people who hate each other too close to one another. So everybody can sort of like just get along. So this is the energy lab, which is like Corpus stuff. This is Corpus. So, you know, it's across from the Oracle. I forget what faction the Oracle is. It might not be a faction specifically. So this is the mall part 1. It's a big empty room for now, but we really liked, this tile set because it's real fancy, and we wanted it to be like a real fancy, upscale sort of like shopping center where sort of like the commerce heart of the station. And this is the mall part 2. This is actually where you currently spawn in into our dojo, which makes sense because it's gonna be, like I said, the center for commerce. This is another storage closet. And then over here, I don't remember what any of these symbols mean. Oh yeah, the Infested. And the Infested and the Tenno are actually kind of buddy-buddy, so I believe we put them close together. So this might be the Tenno lab over here. No, this is the Orchid lab. The Orchid lab is a toughin', because it's got a lot of bits going on for it already. And like, I don't know. I did something with the Orchid lab last time where I surrounded like this thing with a bunch of Orchid lights, and I put one of those big discs, like floral stained glass discs they have. But I don't know, it didn't capture my imagination. Let me see. So this is the Tenno lab. Okay. Because the Orkin and the Tenno, I mean, on one hand, but on the other hand, okay. And last time I sort of made this into like a Shinto temple looking thing, but it's you know, it's no longer some just like, you know, random hallway. It's a shop, so I'm gonna make it look like a shop. This is another one of our small parks. I started work in this one. I think. I don't think these are here naturally. It's sort of dead looking though. Oh yeah, okay. So there's sort of two ways you can go out of the mall leading into the major park. So there's this miniature park here, and then if you continue down this way, we have the dueling room, the training room, we call it. This I've actually got some decoration in. I made it like sort of sentient themed just because I really like how curvaceous these get. Like, look at this. This is great. It's very cool. You know, and the whole point of sentient is that it's like living tech, really. So it's very sick. I'm quite proud of how I managed to get that piece to fit in there. And then of course, because there's battles going on, you gotta have the bingo bango bongos. Can you imagine like a bunch of people hitting these drums, and then like two Shawzin players like sitting here like going at it while a bunch of people just fight? And then, you know, of course, I wanted to make sure the judges were shielded, so they have little housing they sit in. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how this room is coming along. Cause you know, the room doesn't generally have any of these like white pieces in it. It's this blue Tenno stuff. I haven't quite figured out what I want to do with all of this. Like, I added some frames on it, but I'm thinking maybe I want it to like be framing something, because I like the frames, but I don't know what to put in them. Maybe like the winners of the duels get their names on the wall. I don't know, man. Just thinking about things. So yeah, and then this heads into the park. As you can see, you can really sort of jam these little message things up in there to like hide them for the most part, which is great because they don't fit the aesthetics of all these rooms. So this is the park. This is definitely the room that I've spent the most time in so far. This area is still, as you can see, all the things that are yellow, that sort of dull yellow, like up there, are things that I haven't invested resources in to make them permanent fixtures yet, because I'm still not sure about it, you know? This half of the park feels a little strange to me. I don't know. It's hard to know what to put here. But we do have a lovely staircase heading up to this sort of, you know, walkway of bamboo. And you can look over at all this stuff, and you can really easily just walk up here. And then we have the wall of bridges. That took longer than I would like. And the light doesn't like it. Because I sort of jammed the edges of the two bridges together, and the game doesn't really know how it feels about that. So, it's definitely weirdly fluttery. And then that bridge, as you can see, is yellow, so it doesn't exist yet, so I can't actually walk on it. But, you know, this is like sort of a walkway, so you can peer over the sides, but I don't know. This bridge is like so big, I'm thinking of shrinking it down so it doesn't look like the 10-hour toddlers standing on it. But I like the idea of there being a little walkway here, just to like look out over the rest of the park area, and maybe I'll have some things like dingle dangling from it, but for now, that's the way this sort of upper area has turned out. Like I said, I don't really know what to put on this side of that area. And then, you know, this doorway I haven't decorated at all. But, these two doorways are decorated differently. This one, I've sort of gone for like a shrine thing going on. And this leads into the observatory, which it will be sort of like, you know, nightlife. So like a bar and a music area, and like where you can just relax and schmooze between missions, because, you know, the observatory has like the arsenal in it, and it's where you return to when you come back from missions with a bunch of dojo members, you know. Has the navigation in it so you can take off from missions there. So I think having a little bar area is gonna be real sweet. So haven't figured out a name for it yet, but these Christmas lights, they don't really work, but they were so cute that when Christmas came around, I just sort of had to. And then we have this stone bridge with like a little chandelier action going on. And a little temple shrine sort of thing with some more bridges. And a couple of organ things. This is something I'm proud of. I tucked the light back in there, so he's like, oh, he's like enlightened. It's cute. It's cute. And then this sort of area, I really like how this side looks. This side, perfection. And then this side, like, I like the giant mushrooms. And I like the sort of glowing trees. But one, water fixtures are hard to make. In the dojo, there's like this and a couple of fountains, and they're all not great. But, you know, I thought it might be nice to have a sort of cave thing going on over in this area. Maybe like some seating, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So this leads back to the dry dock, which is where we start. There were some Christmas things, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna, use them, so I placed them so I wouldn't lose them. But I don't know when they fixed this. It used to be that you could sort of place in items through doorways by like standing in this doorway and then just having this door be open and just literally moving the item over across the threshold, and you could place items like that. They fixed that, so you can't do that anymore. So I placed them in this room when a lot of the other rooms weren't built. And now they are, and the other rooms that I might have liked to put them in, I can't get them to. So I don't know what I'm doing with those yet, if anything. And then as you can see, this is just the dry dock again. But you can see the giant eyeball from sort of a faraway perspective. I think it looks pretty cool. The trees as eyelashes, and then like the little lights as little eyelashes on the bottom, I think worked. I've tried a bunch of things with these tunnels, and I still don't know what I'm doing there. Okay, and then this is the entrance to the cantina. And the cantina is, if we look on the map, it's the other sort of prong that you could go through. So instead of going to like the battle area, you can head to the cantina. The cantina is also a room that I've spent a lot of time in so far, but that still also needs a lot of work. So as you can see, we have like, this one is Corpus themed, because I think, you know, the colors work well with Tenno stuff, but also you can really just like, you can really go crazy with it. It's very industrial, obviously. So here are some like tables you can sit at. And these are our little TVs that you can watch, I don't know, sports at while you're eating. Here's a vending machine. Obviously not completely hashed out yet, but it will be a vending machine. And a little couch with enough space for 3 little butts. And then this is like where you order, right? So this is like the casual sandwich place. So this is the menu, and you can sit down over here and just day drink. And then we're out back. This is where, you know, the kitchen is. We have a stove. I forgot I put a stove and a vent hood. You know, and a milkshake machine. And then these are the refrigerators. I don't remember if I actually put, like, fog. I might have removed the, fog, environmentals from this just because it was probably taking up a lot of room. But yeah, these are the refrigerators, and this is, like, the drink station. So I think it's looking pretty good so far. The upstairs is not as done yet. And this one is like everyday Corpus stuff, and then this one is like sort of Corpus and Solaris stuff, because Solaris is, you know, it's part of Corpus, it's a Corpus planet. But the idea will be that like there's going to be a stage here and some sit-down tables, and then this is like the fancy restaurant that you like take your beau to. So, casual dining, not so casual dining is the general idea, but whether or not it'll pan out that way is always a mystery. And then, yeah, that's, oh, no wait. I haven't shown you the big area. It's something. So this area, this room here, it was originally empty space, and the empty space rooms are ginormous, as you can see. It's like the biggest room available. And as the name suggests, it just leads out into empty space. Or it would, except my brother spent a bunch of time and effort putting in walls. Right at the very edge of the whole shebang. So this is how big the room is. Just like huge, gargantuan. He spent a bunch of time and effort getting them pixel perfect, and this is where our apartment complex is going to be. So we're gonna try to squeeze about, I think, 10 apartments, and like a mail room, and like a little community room, all up in this space. So most likely it'll be like 3 floors with 4 rooms on each floor. You can't make the walls this size and close up this sort of empty space area, but I think I'd like to try to figure out how to like put that into the design, this area. Maybe put like some Tenno glass hallway sort of window things so that you can see out into space. But yeah, that's what the whole room would look like if it weren't for all these walls. It took them forever too. If you look up on the mini-map, it even says open space. So yeah, I think that's going to be really fun. Something that I had in the old dojo that I do definitely miss is I made a sculpture of Octavia. It was ginormous, and she was reaching her little hand out, like, to grab you. And it was like, rah! It was very cool. But, you know, when we got rid of the old dojo, I knew it was gone, so I took a bunch of pictures. So I'm good. So yeah, now I just have to figure out where I would like to work today. On one hand, I've done a lot of nature work already in this room. On the other hand, I did start on that little park near the mall. But also, I was thinking it would be really fun to work on some kind of water feature in like the mall area and see how that goes. So I think that might be what I work. Oh, I forgot to show off my corpus chandelier. It's not great, but I think it's cute. My favorite thing in this game is seeing how people use unconventional dojo materials to make things. It's truly one of life's greatest joys. Let me see. So, I could definitely start working in here, since this is also especially, like, you spawn in basically right here when you first enter the dojo right now. So I think, actually, I'm going to tuck myself in this doorway and begin working here on a fountain. So I'm wondering if I should try incorporating... No, I think these will be stalls. I think I'll build these into, like, stalls. So I don't want them here right now. So we're just gonna tuck them... We're just gonna tuck them over here. And come back to them while I figure out this sick water feature I want to do. So obviously it should be in the center of the room. So they have all of these separated into different, like, this is the Grenier stuff, which is very military green, you know, Corpus, which is white and yellow and glows, Infestation, which is just like the gross boys. I mean, like, it's all very pustully, and if you're into that, go for it. But so Orican is probably going to end up in this room because it's shiny, it's gold, it's beautiful. Mwah. Tenno probably won't end up in this room. It's sort of, it's got two different aesthetics. It's got like classic Shinto Japanese sort of stuff, and then it's got space Shinto. Some natural stuff might end up in here. Atmospherics are very cool, but very expensive. So maybe not. Sentient is like the natural technology stuff, and then we got the Solaris United. Which it's a lot of white because it's a very snowy planet. If we go down in the Orkin section, though, we get down to the Entrati stuff, and the Entrati is what this room is. It's an Entrati, like, great hall, and the sort of difference between it and regular Orkin is it's a little shinier. It's got more texture, I guess you could say. Like, it's not pure white, it's sort of like stucco-y, and the gold is sort of scuffed. But that's sort of the appeal. It feels much more lived in than a lot of just like the plain Orkin stuff. It's very grand. So I'm thinking we could start with like a big disc. I haven't seen what this orb looks like, so let's... Yep, that's an orb. I can definitely heck with that. Let's see what else. That might make an interesting fountain base. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's been a while since I've done this, honestly, so how do I scale up? Yes, okay. Oh, hold to scale. That's better. There we go. Yep. And let's put the snapping a little snappier. And see if that's... Nope, not centered at all. It's a big fountain. Let me see the scale. It's a big fountain, but also, I mean, is that a bad thing? It would definitely be a focal point, which I think might be interesting. So let's start with this as the base. And it's good for now. So, one of the issues with, like if we look in the naturals, they do have like a water fountain and, the water fountains are mostly in Tenno, and they're very rustic and very small. So, like, you want any actual still water going on, that's what you're working with. So, it's not the easiest to get that, water look going. But I think the trick of it is going to be making the fountain sort of sculptural and then having these waterfalls coming up off of it and down it to imitate as if there is flowing water in it. So let's see. I put those in the dry dock because they're very cool. So hold up. Okay, that's sick. I wonder if there's some way I could create like an arch. How do I rotate again? Rotate. Yep. Okay. How big does this get? Oh, that's the biggest it gets. It only gets smaller. Interesting. Okay. So, I'm wondering if... Oh, there's no way. I don't think you could... I was thinking maybe some kind of arch over it, but I've already got a kind of arch going on in the park, and it's not tall enough, I don't think, for what I would need it for. So we have this. I noticed an orkin disc, I think, that could work in the bottom of the fountain. So let's see how... I mean, it's certainly not big enough on its own. I could always make the fountain smaller. It doesn't need to be max size. So let's see what that looks like. Better. I think if I just, oops, squish it a little more. Yeah, I think that looks good. And it's still centered, so we're good. Okay. So I think that's a good base. But that could change depending on how I do the sort of center column. Because there has to be a center column for the water to travel up through. That might be interesting if I layer those. That's a little dark. This is sort of nifty. It might make a good topper for the fountain, though. That's cool, but I don't think it... I mean... Let's see what this looks like. It reminds me of, Oh, look, it's big! Oh, heck! Look how big that is in comparison to Octavia. It reminds me of, how George Lucas might make a droid in the 70s. You know? I might like it better upside down. Which would be in rotate. But let me get the size first, I think. I might also have to change the snapping to make it fit. It's not what I meant. That's what I meant. Too much. Too much angle on that angle. Okay. Oh no, it fits pretty well in there. Yeah. Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. So, I think that works well for the sort of first layer. But I think the trick of this is going to be having multiple layers of water flowing. So I'd like to put something on top that I think would sort of obviously serve as a platform water could sploosh through. So let's see about this. Oh yeah, this is the sort of stained glass thing. So water could sploosh around it and sort of through this hoop. But I don't know about that. I think I'll find something else. Maybe a disc. Just a plain gold disc that I can then sort of decorate to make it more ornate. Is that... It looks like it's lined up correctly. Sometimes these things don't line up because it doesn't like the snapping that you've used, so you have to change it up. Let me see about water. Because it's also important to know... Oh, well... I forgot how long these are. Let's see how small they can get. This is one of the things where snapping becomes important, because that's too low and that's too high. So let's put it at 25 and see. You can have it coming out of the disc. It sort of blorps right into that ring though. So let's pop it back, pop it up. I think we can heck with that. So let me put it on each of the four corners and see how that looks. I think that's 90 degrees. Seems like it. Waterfall, please. Waterfall, please. Highlight the waterfall, please. My reticle is on it. Highlight the waterfall, please. Okay, I'm grabbing this one. This is another thing about the... I cannot emphasize enough that this game is meant to be, you're a space ninja shooting things. And I also cannot emphasize enough how I do not treat it like that. So... Oh, I had it for a second. I have to have it because I have to move it slightly. There we go. Okay. The waterfalls do not enjoy being grabbed. Now I gotta make sure all their little waterfall feet are hitting sort of the same spot on the rings. So I think now if I take each one and replicate it, so then it sits on 45 degrees, I can place something in between each of them to make it appear like they're being blocked and that's where they have to sort of flow out. Because that is how water works. It always follows the path of least resistance. Doesn't look like I'll be able to get a perfect 45-degree angle if I snap it to 15 degrees. So let's... There we go. That doesn't hit quite right. It's better. It's higher up off the disc, though. Okay, that's that. It was too high up off the disc was the issue. This game was certainly not built for this. Not specifically. On one hand, it gives you a lot of freedom where you can put things. On the other hand, the freedom to put things everywhere doesn't necessarily mean that it'll look good. Okie dokie. And then I think I'll have to put something in the... Okay. In the bottom of the fountain as well to sort of cover up the fact that it's got no actual water in it. That looks off. They all look off a little bit. That's what I mean. You can get them close, but close is not always perfect. Okay, so something that will look like is blocking the flow of water in order to... Oh, maybe those balls. Where'd they go? So there's a gold orb, and there's a not gold orb. Well, it's gold, but it's also white. What does this look like, though? I mean, it looks like a gold orb. That is kinda perfect. I didn't even have to resize it. Oh. Okay. It's gonna do the... Oh, you did it once and now you want to do it again? Nope. That actually looks... looks really cute. Oh my goodness. Okay. That one I think I put in too far. Yeah. It's really cute. With these little balls all over the place. Maybe they ought to all go in a little deeper. Yeah, that looks better that way. Is that not... It's not even. Okay, there we go. A little deeper. One of the other things about this system is, like, I get it. They don't want you to be able to place the decorations and then have it, like, look like the thing, so you have to invest resources into it. But also, envisioning what the colors all look like together is definitely one of those things where it's just like, you just gotta sort of hope that it works. And then if it doesn't, you just gotta go back and fix it. I think that, though, is cute as hell. Look at that. I don't think cute as hell is actually what we're going for, though. So let's see if I can figure out some way to make it a little more elegant. A little more spend all of your hard-earned money here. Maybe one of these gold rings. Oh yeah, these are huge. Does that go through all of them in the same depth? It seems like it. Does that block the waterfall from coming out? Doesn't seem like it. Could maybe be bigger, though. That's a little too big. Should that be higher? Should that be lower? Oops. Cancel. Thank you. Doesn't really wanna change its height. So let's try some constrained movement. Yes. Nope. Doesn't want to go any lower. So let's try higher. I think I like the height, but it's no longer touching any of them. Then again, that ring down at the bottom isn't touching any of them. I could use some kind of something to join the rings. No, wait, this ring is touching exactly one of them. Why would you do this to me? Let's try... Okay, yeah, snapping it to one seemed to... I mean, now it's not it. Okay. Constrained movement. Y-axis. Nope, it's not going down anymore. Oh. There we go. It's still just dingling that one dangle. Maybe it's because the balls are out of alignment. That would honestly make sense. Well, I placed it, and that has caused me issues. Okay. So maybe no rings. That's too far in. Okay. Let's see how some pointy things look. I think some pointy things could look quite nice. Oops. Doesn't really wanna play. So, something else about the way placing things in this game works is some sides are, I guess you could say, the solid side and don't like intersecting with objects. So for example, it seems like this is the solid side because the top of this really doesn't want anything to do with this fountain. Whereas if I rotate it, it's like, yeah, I'll heck with this all day, every day, because this side with the gold is apparently the not solid side, which means that they're like, yes, place this against the wall. It won't clip that way, or something. I don't know what they think when they do these things. Doesn't seem to want to play nice. I could do something like that, but I don't know. I am skeptical. See, it won't go in there. Okay. No thank you. Oops. So we will work with some other piece. And this is how decorating a dojo ends up taking literally forever. I think generally there are other people in the dojo who do decorating, but I am the only one who decorates in this dojo. So, it's sorta all my responsibility. In fact, my role is a special role made for me called interior designer. So, you know, that's something. What does this look like? Bonkers is what it looks like. It's got like little teeths on the bottom. Why does it have... Why does the whole thing a mouth? That's... gross. No place on my cute fountain. Okie dokie artichoke. So let's go back to just the plain working, because I'm more familiar with how those tend to work. We'll try this orc and filigree. Oh, did I place that? It does get quite big. I think this could actually look quite nice. The ring goes right through it. Okay, yep. That's what's happening. Okay, so copy. Um, really does emphasize how not aligned the balls are. I could try to shrink them, but then the problem would become getting them all to be the same size. Looks good enough. This one does not play as nicely, so I shall have to do it on every other one, I think. Is that the same height? Does not appear to be, no. Okay, same height. Is it hitting the ring the same? Nope, it's not. I don't think that's working, because it's no longer lined up. Maybe it needs to be more like... Oh, I had the angle wrong. But I could do this instead. It would make it easier for me to place them in future. Up. Out. Out one further, I think. And then get rid of this one. And put it on like this sort of... I don't think anything I've placed on this fountain is square. Ugh. Why? Okay, well, that's fine. It's one of the problems with these waterfall things. Apparently, it's one of the problems with these ball things. Okay, so instead of doing something with that, then let's just move on to the next layer and see how that does. Okie dokie. Could put some benches on the outside, but we'll think about that once I figured out what the heck's going on. I mean, it's definitely cool. I see where it fits in on the architecture over here. But how does it fit into what I'm doing? I don't know, it's a little threatening with just how pointy it is. Are those balls not... I'm gonna... These are gonna give me an aneurysm. Why are you higher than the other ones? Can it even squash in there properly? Nope, because of this new disc. Okay. Second tier, second tier. Let's see how this looks. It's definitely on the darker side, but that actually fits in better now with the entreaty stuff versus just like the normal orc. Doesn't play nicely if I mean that's not square. So but it seems like it's aligned correctly. I don't know how I feel about it though. How squished in there can I get these boys? Pretty squished in there. But do I want them squished in there? At this point, I might as well just place one. Okay. That was fruitless. Whoops. I do literally all the time. Okay. Could use the benches in an interesting way, but I kind of want to use the benches for benches. Consoles can look nice. Let's go with another sort of tube-like thingamajig, though, for the middle. Like this. It's kind of hefty. But that is a problem I can fix. Up here, because when you do that, oh no, it fits. Okay. I think now we're getting to... What is this? It's interesting, I'll give it that. Is that square up? Yeah, that's square up. It's not bad. I think if I put a couple of doodad of it, and then I can sort of make the water squishing out the top. That's nothing. Let's rotate this action happening on stage. You know what? Let's just even these out. And the chef doesn't need that much room. This can go back to not being cat corner, I think. Because that's plenty of room for a hibachi table. And that way, oops. This can go a little bit further this way, I think. Okay. I think that's more than enough for today. Well,